I'm coming to the end of the line with this video, my Microsoft Live Cam, because it's not supported by Windows 10 anymore. So I'm having some technical difficulties. Can't find drivers for it. Can't find software that'll update anything or allow me to change settings on the camera. So you're going to be stuck, for as much as I do videos in the next little while, you're just going to be stuck with however this shows up on the screen. So yeah, anyway, that aside, until I get a new camera, that aside, I wanted to kind of talk about this idea of religious fundamentalism. And I think for a lot of people, they're a bit confused as to what religious fundamentalism is. For some, and for some on the left, I imagine by the time you start talking about religious fundamentalism, you're talking about something that doesn't really exist in their heads, or as a concept to them. They feel that religious fundamentalism is merely some sort of, dressed up way of thinking that doesn't actually align itself with religion. For them, most of the world is religious, but it's a moderate religiosity. It's and that's what the true religion is. And I think there's a difference that needs to be learned between what fundamentalism is and what moderatism is. So nobody's saying that all religious people are terrorists or all of them are fundamentalists, but some are. And I think you have to go directly to the text sometimes to see where they're coming from. I mean, if you've ever read basically the online magazine of ISIS, Dabiq, I think it's an online version or it might be a printed version. Either way, they have multiple online publications and things like that. They talk about hating the West. They talk directly and explicitly about hating the West and the way of life in the West. And they make reference to religion. They want an Islamic caliphate or an Islamist state that's more than just their region, but across the world. They want to be noticed globally, and they think that this is where their mission lies at its very core. In the words of Sam Harris, this is what they tell you. And I mean, for some reason, we still put this blanket of religious extremism being non-existent on a political spectrum, that we deny what they say they're saying on the magazine pages or what they've written themselves. So added to that, a lot of people blame atheists for the source of this fundamentalist interpretation of religion, because atheists are the ones basically reading these pages of these holy texts as they are written on the in the Bible or the Quran or whatever holy book you get your ideas from. But I mean, you really have to wonder who's to be. I mean, there was a great tweet by Glenn Greenwald, who tweeted at Richard Dawkins, basically saying that atheists have have just as a fundamentalist reading of holy books as fundamentalists. But I mean, you look at, and Richard Dawkins tweeted back basically saying, sorry, I was busy pushing gays off of rooftops and killing them. So I mean, you really got to wonder where this clinging to this eternal narrative comes from when people are saying atheists are just as responsible for fundamentalist readings of holy books as fundamentalists. I think you really got to look at where is this being practiced and what atheists are actually saying when they quote scripture. I mean, and I think on some level they're saying two things. They're saying on the one hand, look, moderately religious people already don't believe in some of these literalist readings of these holy books. So it's not that we're saying you, by reading these holy books, if they read them at all, that you are fundamentalist. It's saying that you've already come up with an extra holy book understanding of morality and how it applies to these scriptures. You've already reinterpreted them as much as you can, and in some cases a lot, in order to fit with a moderately religious view. And fundamentalism, which is the difference we need to learn, as Sam Harris would say, is basically people who do take the literal truth of scripture. So there is a difference here, and they practice it like the whole killing the gays thing. Like, I mean, they do practice it. They do act out these fundamentalist readings of scripture. So that's all atheists are basically saying, that fundamentalism does exist, extremism does exist, terrorism does exist because of these holy books. I mean, they basically tell you that they're pulling it from their holy books. Anyway, a bit of a neither here and there kind of video, but I think I made my point. I think that's kind of what I wanted to get across. But yeah, this clinging to this eternal or this divine narrative, I think is you really got to wonder who's doing the clinging when it comes down to it. But yeah, that's it for now. Bye.